Dr. Dreyfus, a nationally recognized clinical psychologist, relationship counselor, and life coach in Los Angeles, stated on a website bearing his name, 1 in 56 children are abused and 61% of children are neglected. An astonishing statistic. In all 50 states, we must have a license to drive an automobile. We have to have a license to marry, but anyone can become a parent. No license, no age requirement, no nothing. Just have sex, fertilize an egg, bingo, one becomes a parent. And exactly what makes someone fit to parent? What makes someone think just by bringing a child into the world, they are fit to parent that child? We would not think of letting people drive a car without having had some experience behind the wheel and taking a driver's test. But when it comes to raising a child, many people, if not most, have never had any experience caring for a child. End quote. In researching this subject, I found that in many states, classes such as court-ordered divorce class, child custody class, and co-parenting classes are required if a couple wants to file for divorce. Examples of other classes that are mandatory in several states are drug and alcohol classes, online traffic school, domestic violence classes, anger management classes, theft and shoplifting classes. This information comes from a website called Logan Social Services, which offers these classes online. Why are these types of classes mandatory, yet classes that would provide knowledge and skills to parents, enabling them to better care for their child, are rarely heard of, let alone mandatory? As citizens of this country, are we doing the best that we can for the future leaders of our nation, for the next generation of scientists, astronauts, inventors, for the hope of all that is good and worthwhile? In an article posted in U.S. News in February of 2014, Stephen Nelson reported the following. New York parents will be forced to return to school for government-run parenting classes if State Senator Ruben Diaz Sr., Democrat from the Bronx, has his way. Diaz is sponsoring legislation that would require the parents of elementary school students to attend 4 parent support programs before their children are allowed to enter 7th grade, end quote. Frank Field, a former labor welfare minister in England, said in a report published in an article in The Guardian, written by Owen and Winter, poor parenting exists across the income distribution, but tends to have less of an impact on better off children, where other factors provide greater protection against poor outcomes. His report recommends that parenting courses be offered as routine to new parents and should be seen as something normal to do rather than remedial or something only for low-income families, end quote. From Dr. Dreyfus, the state cannot prevent people from having children. The state cannot regulate who shall and who shall not have the right to procreate. However, rather than do nothing and merely sit back and throw up our hands and lament the current state of affairs regarding the poor parenting skills of many parents and the negative effects on the children, perhaps are ways to improve the probability of more effective parenting, end quote. I believe there is a credible solution which would help to reduce the growing problem of neglect and abuse of babies and small children, the inadequate ability of parents to help their children develop properly, and the lack of necessary skills in parents to provide a safe, loving, and healthy environment to bring their babies home to. The solution is a mandatory series of parenting classes for all first-time parents. Mandatory. Parents would be required to complete a series of parenting classes prior to the birth of their first baby. These classes would provide basic parenting skills and instruction in how to care for their newborn through toddler age and early childhood. I realize that there are currently a variety of classes videos, and online information available to first-time parents. Some hospitals require videos to be viewed before going home with their new baby. Not exactly an uneventful time to have to take in enormous amount of information. Yet, even with the parenting information that is available, it is not usually sought out or implemented. Hence, that is why there is a need to make parenting classes mandatory. Topics needing to be covered could include such things as how to take an accurate temperature, symptoms that require taking a baby to the doctor, what to do when baby will not stop crying, feeding baby, how often and how much should the baby be sleeping, vaccinations, the importance of having them and why they're important, over-the-counter medications you can give a baby or toddler, choking hazards and baby-proofing your house, infant CPR, sudden infant death syndrome, and what can be done to prevent it, car seats, the correct size and models for your child, poison control, importance of reading to your baby, offering stimulating playtime. Can you envision a country where newborns are being taken home from the hospital by parents who have been provided with the knowledge, skills, and ability to care and provide for them and help them grow and develop? Can you picture a child who once might have suffered from neglect and abuse, but instead is happy and safe? Can you see in your mind's eye a community full of well-adjusted, knowledge-seeking children who are an asset rather than an unnecessary casualty of unskilled, untrained parents? What can we do to make this vision a reality? We can stand up and be heard. In our communities, we can speak to our neighbors and friends, getting their feedback and ideas about parenting classes. We can contact our state leadership, requesting that mandatory parenting classes be considered for first-time parents in the state. We can reach out to our government leaders on a national level, sharing the positive aspects of mandating such a course of training. We can make a difference one person at a time, one parent and one newborn at a time. In conclusion, I quote again from Dr. Dreyfus. I know that simply attending parenting classes is no guarantee of creating effective parents, but it will increase the possibility that something will rub off on the attendees that might result in greater parenting competency. I believe that many people within this population of parents want to be better parents. They just feel overwhelmed and helpless. These classes might be of help to those parents. The cost of such parenting classes is nominal when compared to the cost of having a generation of neglected children. Doing nothing is not an answer. Thank you.